Massive 14-game slate tonight right before Thanksgiving, guys. Paul, we need a favorite DFS play at center. Who you got?
Well, Adam, does anybody believe that McDavid will be held off the score sheet 2 games in a row, particularly when he's up against a weak lineup like that of the Coyotes? Not me, so I'll pay up to the top of the board for his price of $9,600. On the other hand, even as a Leaf fan, I'm going to fade Austin Matthews tonight against a tough top-checking assignment that he's going to face in the likes of Philip Deneau and Anze Kopitar. That's 2 of the best defensive centers in hockey, and he'll face both of them all night long. That's a matchup that the defensive-minded Kings of Pivot, particularly Deneau, has won dating back to last season's first-round playoff loss for the Leafs. I'm still trying to forget that one. Thanks for bringing me back that flashback. Lower on the board, I like Sebastian Aho of the Hurricanes as the #1 center of the league's top-scoring team at the quarter pole, and he meets with the expansion team that has looked every bit that part in losing 8 of their last 10. He'll cost you $7,500. I don't mind paying up for centers tonight.
Well, Geoff, we know that you're all about Edmonton, obviously, and so there's not going to be any Connor McDavid slander with you. But I don't know, you want to stick on the same team? You want to go with Leon Draisaitl? You want to stay priced up at Austin Matthews? Who stands out to you?
I think Paul covered the high-priced guys tonight. I mean, look, but we got a 14-game slate. There's a lot to choose from, and you're going to need some value. I think looking at the Florida Panthers tonight is definitely going to be a savvy move, a savvy way you can get some pretty well-priced players in a better-than-advertised matchup. You got the Flyers coming in, losers of the 3 of their last 4 games. Their goaltenders have started to regress a little bit, which really shouldn't be that big a shock. I don't think this team is as good defensively as they've started the year. Sam Bennett is the player I want to target at 6,300. Alex Barkov out. Bennett handling all the big first-line duties, and he's just been really productive for DFS. It hasn't shone through with like a multi-point game yet, but 11 shots on net in his last couple games. He's going to be handling the power play 1, playing alongside Duclair and Jonathan Huberdeau. It's a really good spot for Sam Bennett. He's a very quality player, and again, 6,300 for the top line of the Florida Panthers offense right now. Yeah, you should be interested in that every night. So I like him for a little bit of value.
Let's stay with you here, Moose, for a favorite play at wing. Of course, your first opportunity to go with the high-priced guys. Alex Ovechkin stands out. David Pastrnak is priced up as well. Do you like someone up there? Do you want to go a little cheaper? What do you think?
I mean, again, you can definitely pay up for those guys. You're not going to be able to fit in McDavid and Ovechkin, all these guys, right? I mean, you've got to look for some good upper tier value, we'll call it. I like Nikolai Ehlers for that reason. Taking on a Blue Jackets team who, quite frankly, they can definitely give up a ton of goals on any night. Certainly gotten a bit of a shootout with the Buffalo Sabres of all teams in their last game. So it's the Columbus team I really don't mind attacking. They allow a lot of shots on goal as well. And you've got Winnipeg should be coming in here a little bit hungry. I mean, this is a good offense, but they really got shut down in their last 2 games against Pittsburgh and then Vancouver as well. Ehlers, though, averaging 3.6 shots on goal per game, really just playing a big part of that Winnipeg top 6. I think at 6,400, you finally got him at a decent salary here. He was up in the upper 6Ks the last couple starts that he's had on DraftKings. But now he's down. I think this is a player you should target tonight. And again, Columbus's defense really hasn't been that good of late. So I like the Jets forwards, and I really like Nikolai Ehlers. There
are definitely some good plays, obviously, in the upper 5K range, low 6K, sort of that middle of the pack here. Paul, what are you thinking?
I'm going to give you one high and one low. I like on the top of the board, Ovechkin at $9,300. Very tempting as he lights up Canadian opponents regularly, knowing that there's going to be lots of eyeballs on those games. And he's done that for a long time. And yes, I brought it up mainly because I take great joy in pointing out that the Habs are just not very good this year. And I also like the matchup for Matt Duchene at home against the Vegas club that has the longest injury list almost of any team in the league right now. It's a bad matchup for the visitors as the Minnesota Winger is one of the hottest scorers in hockey with 10 goals and 4 helpers in his last 10 games. And yet he's only priced at $5,900 tonight.
All right, so let's keep going here. We'll stay with you, Paul. Favorite defenseman tonight is, you going high, you going low, middle? What do you think?
Well, I got to go low because I'm taking a lot of high-priced forwards here. I'm going to focus on the blue liners under $5,000 tonight to find a couple of solid value plays, in my opinion. First, the Jets are almost back at full strength, and with what we've seen out of Nate Schmidt most recently, I'm pretty excited about his future in Winnipeg. He's caught up to their schemes, and he's now given them a third credible defensive scoring option from the blue line. And I think he's only scratching the surface in that regard with 5 points and 25 shots on goal and 13 block shots, all in his last 10 games. He costs only $4,300 against the Blue Jackets tonight. And then cheaper than that, I like Rasmus Dahlin of the Sabres. I think this is the first time I've given a Buffalo reference all season. But tonight he's only costing $4,000 against the visiting Bruins. And this former first overall draft pick is really reminding people of why he got that high accolade. He has 8 points in his last 10 games, along with 23 shots on goal and 7 block shots in his last 10, playing in all the high leverage minutes for the Sabres. And they play very tough against the Bruins, a longtime division rival. It doesn't matter where these teams are in the standings. It's always a rivalry game, and the Sabres will give it the best shot, and Dahlin will be front and center there.
Couple sub 5K guys in addition. You could Gostisbehere, Provorov, guys like that here. Moose, you want to stick with value, which you've been doing, obviously?
I think I'll mention a couple from both ranges. I mean, Devon Taves of the Colorado Avalanche, anytime you can get like Girard or Taves under 5K, especially in a pretty solid matchup, I mean, I think those are good values. But I really don't mind paying up for Brent Burns in this spot. I mean, I feel like whenever Ottawa is playing a team, like you really just need to look at the high-priced players on that team. Burns is coming in with no points in his last, I believe it's 5 games now. So he has cooled off after that hot start. It's a little concerning, but at the same time, I mean, like not much has changed. This is just a bit of a slow stretch for him. And again, you've got the Ottawa Senators coming in just playing terrible. I mean, they've got one win, in their last 9 games. Everything is kind of tanking in terms of power play ability and stuff like that, or penalty kill, excuse me. I like Brent Burns here if you're going to pay up. I think Aaron Ekblad is also really interesting there. I mentioned the matchup against the Flyers. I don't mind that at all, but Burns is the guy who really feels like he could explode in this spot. It's expensive, but I think that all the San Jose sort of top players tonight should be of interest to you, and I don't even think they're going to be that highly owned on a 14-game slate.
All right, why don't we go to the DraftKings Sportsbook side of things here, Geoff? We'll stay with you. And how about a best bet on the money line? Who are you just super confident is going to win tonight?
I am pretty confident that the Winnipeg Jets are a very, very good value on the money line tonight. They're sitting at minus 130. They're small underdogs going up against the Columbus Blue Jackets on the road. But I think when you really start to look at these two teams, there's a pretty big difference. Paul mentioned this team was getting healthy, the Jets, and I think the only reason they're only minus 130 is that they've lost a couple tight games. And yeah, one of them was to Vancouver, but that was on the back end of a back-to-back. There's no shame in losing to the Penguins, who are playing well, and they really just got stymied by a goalie. But again, you do not want to get in a shootout with the Winnipeg Jets, considering their top 6, and that's probably what's going to happen tonight because the Blue Jackets just have not been good defensively. Connor Hellebuck is playing really good too. He's probably going to get the start here tonight. I think the Jets should be bigger favorites. They're easily my top just pure money line play of the night.
All right, what do you think here, Pablo?
I'm going to give you 2. I mentioned how Nashville is scoring much more than we're used to seeing in the last couple of seasons. Tonight they faced a depleted Vegas club. The Preds have a raucous home crowd of their own behind them, and I think they could put a beating on the visitors tonight. So take Nashville at minus 120. And I think the Islanders are much easier to play now that they're missing their top 4 defensemen and a number of key forwards, all mostly due to the COVID protocols. The Rangers, meanwhile, are only missing Sammy Blais from an otherwise full and healthy lineup that's been getting scoring from throughout the roster in recent games. And they've allowed only 13 goals against in their last 6 outings. I say take the Rangers at plus 105.